Hey there, Dud, if you're here tonight, you're not alone, you're just tired. And maybe you're looking for a little silence. Let's find it together. There's nothing you need to do now. You don't need to focus. You don't need to follow. You can let your mind wander, or not wander at all. Dim the lights. Lie back. Let the weight of the day melt beneath you. No one needs you now. Not even you. We're not going anywhere fast. This isn't a story to chase. It's a thought, a breath, a pause. Tonight's story is called The Man Who Thought by the Silent Lake. But don't worry about the name or the ending. Just stay with the stillness. The lake didn't ripple, not from wind, not from breath. It simply rested, still, watching nothing, being nothing, and he was there, sitting beside it, without hurry, without reason. Time didn't pass here. It sat quietly, like an old friend who doesn't need to speak. Seconds forgot their job. Minutes stayed home. Hours never showed up. And that was fine. Nothing was waiting. His thoughts didn't arrive. They drifted, like dust in soft light. No sharp corners, no endings, no questions. Only presence, only breath. There was no sound, but also no silence. Just a space, a hum without tone. A space where the world didn't need to explain itself. He tried to recall his name. Nothing came. Not panic. Not fear. Just a pause, like forgetting something that never really mattered. There were shadows on the water, but he couldn't find what cast them. No trees above, no birds flying. Just gentle shapes, moving slowly, like memories that didn't belong to him. When he pressed his hand to the earth, it didn't resist. It accepted, quietly, as if it had been waiting a long time. Thinking wasn't needed here. There was no problem to solve, no future to prepare for. The lake didn't ask questions. It just was. It might have been afternoon, or evening, or morning from yesterday. Time blurred like breath on glass, and he didn't mind. He noticed his breathing, not to control it, just to follow it. In, out, in, out. That was the story now. There was no urge to go, no curiosity, no boredom, just the comfort of not moving and not needing to. He didn't look up, but something shifted in the light. Maybe a cloud, maybe a thought, maybe nothing at all. This was a different kind of now. Not the one filled with updates and alerts. Not the one that ticks. Just a gentle kind. Like the space between two waves. His mind softened, like moss under bare feet. It didn't cling. It didn't slip. It simply held him. Maybe he had come here for a reason, but that reason let go, like a leaf leaving its branch. No pain, no sound, just the natural end of holding on. The stillness wasn't empty. It grew, like a blanket being pulled up to the chin, like water settling in a quiet bowl. He thought less, and what remained was soft, like air that didn't move, like pages that didn't need to turn. Felt like the lake was listening, not to him, but to itself. to the way stillness makes space for being. He finally heard nothing. Not silence. Just the end of needing to hear anything at all. The world didn't tug at him. No buzz, no glow, no notification. Just this moment. And the next one exactly the same. He didn't know when the wind had stopped, but it had. And it wasn't mist. His breathing slowed, and slowed again. Not by effort, but by kindness. There were no more questions. They had taken off their coats and gone home. Even the loud ones, especially them. He remained, not because he had to, not because he should, just because stillness held him. Sleep didn't rush. It arrived like mist, touching everything at once, and nothing directly. Stillness had a shape, not sharp, not exact, but it was there. A curve in the breath, a soft bend in the moment. It wrapped around him like something familiar. There were no voices, no footsteps, no promises trying to pull him forward. Nothing called his name, and nothing needed to. He was already where he wouldn't leave. The light didn't come from the sun. It came from the quiet. It hovered instead of shining. It didn't land on his skin. It soaked through the air. Calm, wide, enough. He remembered movement. Walking, running, pacing. But here the memory slowed, turned soft, like a wave that no longer reaches shore. He couldn't remember what he had forgotten, but he could feel the absence, like an empty shelf, clean, undisturbed, waiting for nothing. He wasn't missed, not by messages, not by clocks, not by anyone or anything. It was the purest kind of rest, the kind where you vanish without leaving a hole. The lake still didn't reflect him, but it didn't hide him either. It accepted the shape he made in its world, and didn't ask him to be clearer, or louder or more. The day had been long, or maybe it hadn't. He let it go anyway, like taking off a coat, like removing a thought. Everything had slowed. Even the parts of him he didn't know were rushing. Thoughts now drifted like feathers, not to land, just to float. There was space between things, not gaps, not emptiness, but space. Enough room for being, for nothing, for now. There was no one to impress, no one to disappoint. The weight of others had never felt so distant and so light. He wasn't waiting for anything. Not for sleep, not for peace, not even for the next thought. Just letting the moment be enough. Even the wind had stayed quiet. It had whispered earlier, but now it listened. And so did he. He didn't try to be calm. He didn't try to think slow. Calmness arrived on its own, like a fog you didn't notice until you were inside it. This wasn't a journey. It wasn't a destination. It was the space between, not where you go, but where you are when you stop going. Shadows moved without meaning. They didn't tell the time. They didn't draw attention. They simply passed by. And that was enough. He used to chase questions, but here they felt heavy. He let them dissolve, like sugar in warm water. His breath became a blanket, covering him with silence. One inhale at a time, one release without effort. The lake wasn't sleeping, but it made sleep easier. By holding the stillness, by not asking anything in return. He didn't watch the lake anymore. He became like it. Still, quiet, wide, and gently present. Even the air had softened. Each breath was smooth, like silk sliding over thought. No effort, only ease. He couldn't find the edges of the day. It was all one piece now. Light folded into shadow, shadow into breath, and breath into being. He felt no urgency, not even to sleep. It would come. It always did. Like mist returning to the field. Time had stopped pushing, stopped ticking. It simply sat beside him, like a quiet friend. Only the lake knew how long he had been there. And it never said, because it never had to. Stillness is not measured. It is lived. The silence didn't ask for anything. It just offered itself. A gift without wrapping. Presence without purpose, but full of weightless meaning. The ground held him, not tightly, not loosely, just enough. The patience of earth is unmatched. Time had meaning once. Alarms, deadlines, but now it was just texture, soft and smooth, without beginning or end. There were no notifications, no schedules, no one expecting him back. Even the past seemed disinterested, and it was a relief. Thought used to be heavy. Here it floated, like dust on sunbeams, like air made of memory, gentle, unnecessary. The sky above him didn't change. Clouds remained still. Stars waited far away. No message in them, and no meaning needed. Sleep didn't rush in. It stood by the door, waiting to be welcomed, not pushing, not begging, just gently waiting. He had no name here, no title, no job, no role to perform, just a presence, just breath. The lake still listened, even when he stopped thinking, even when he stopped noticing. It listened like an old friend, one that didn't need to speak. His eyes were open, but they didn't need to see. They rested without closing. because the world outside had become as quiet as the one within. He used to watch the clock, chase the hour, but now time was something he passed through, without looking back. The day itself had fallen asleep. The sounds were covered, the air thick with calm, and everything paused for just a while longer. He drifted but didn't go anywhere. He floated in stillness, like resting on a held breath. Not lost, just let go. The lake had no shore anymore, no beginning, no finish, just water and stillness and him. There was no yesterday, no tomorrow, only now, only stillness, only sleep. Sleep was no longer coming. It was already here, in the air, in the breath, in the space between thoughts. The water still held no reflection, because there was no need to see, no face to remember, just the feeling of being. He had nowhere to be, no arrival ahead, no departure behind, only here, only now. Stillness was not the absence of life. It was the fullness of it, without struggle, without noise, just being. The night wasn't moving fast. It stretched slowly, covering the lake, covering him, without pressure. The lake, the sky, the land, they had all blurred. There were no lines, no labels, just one wide breath of stillness. He felt small, but not empty. Small like a whisper, small like a star, but full with silence. The lake remembered everything, but never spoke of it. It just kept holding and forgiving and allowing. Sleep didn't announce itself. It didn't knock. It just quietly became everything. The lake, the breath, the stillness. There was no ending, because endings are loud, and this was silence, pure and wide and gentle. Not a goodbye with words, just a release, like letting go of a leaf, like floating into softness. The lake, his mind, the air, the thoughts, all slowed into sleep. Only breath remained, steady, quiet, unbothered, present. There was nothing left to say, no thought to finish, no feeling to explain. Just this moment, and the next one, and the sleep between them. The lake finally slept, and so did he. Not away from the world, but deeper into it, where nothing hurts, and everything is still.